Thank you very much. Apologies for the mask. I would much rather not have to wear it, but I am clinically vulnerable. If it bothers anyone, just imagine that someone from the cast of Casualty has invaded the stage to protest the lack of nomination. It's an outrage. Because I am, in fact, very happy to finally be here. It's a pleasure to have been invited to present these awards. But the original invitation was 3 years ago, which seems like a very long time. 3 years ago is back when deals were oven ready. Pushing small sticks as far as possible into your nose was just an item on ITV's list of possible bush tucker trials. And appointing Nadine Dorries as Culture Secretary was rejected as a mock the week punchline. For being too far-fetched. That's not a joke, that's true. Now, I have been warned that if I deliver that joke, by this point a red dot will have appeared on my forehead, or even worse, Will Smith will somehow manage to be in the audience. I personally think that's unlikely. So let me say instead that these awards are particularly special as they are chosen by people who, while not, well, of course they're chosen by people, sorry. They're chosen by people who, while not professionally employed in the media, have shown by their membership of VLV their commitment to quality in broadcasting. The programme awards are based on the nominations from the membership, and their enthusiasm and breadth of interest is demonstrated by the sheer number of different programmes suggested this year. 123 in the television categories, and 123 in the television categories, and 103 in audio, and there were 66 nominations for individual contributors. I think it's worth remembering there are, of course, 3 significant media anniversaries this year. The 100th anniversary of the BBC, which first broadcast on November the 14th, 1922, followed on the 15th by the Daily Mail's first call to abolish the licence fee. And it's also the 40th anniversary of Channel 4, which first broadcast November the 2nd, 1982. We don't know exactly when it will be privatised. All we do know is that when we hear the countdown clock, they've got 30 seconds left. The third significant anniversary is that this is VLV's 30th awards year. And in an ever-changing media landscape, what always matters is quality and content. Well, and budget, to be honest. But let's forget about that just for an hour and focus on quality and content, for that is what the VLV Awards are about. So I will hand over to Lewis for the first category.
Yeah. We're going to start with an audio award for the best individual contributor to audio. And the final nominations were Anita Anand, Paul Gambaccini, Chris Mason, Paddy O'Connell, Linda Presley, Amal Rajan.
Right. Let's have some sort of drum roll here. The winner is a true man of radio and indeed of audio, presenter of Any Questions, political reporter and a member of the Brexit cast and newscast teams. Until recently, he still popped up as a newsreader to fill in any gaps in his schedule. And his down-to-earth approach was typified by his answer to a question during the Brexit saga. I haven't the foggiest idea what is going to happen in the coming weeks. You might as well get Mr. Blobby to offer his analysis. Since members voted, he has been headhunted to become the BBC's political editor, but he still has the day job, or possibly night job, of presenting Any Questions, which is why we have brought forward his award so he can fly off to the Shetland Islands. On a radio budget, that is amazing. He is, of course, Chris Mason, and here he is.
Not sure this is going to survive the journey to the Shetland Islands. To put it somewhere for safekeeping for a week or two. Thank you very much for this award. It's hugely appreciated, and thank you for fast-forwarding me to the front of the gong queue this afternoon, such as the dash to City Airport through a strike-ridden London and the traffic. And it's so wonderfully timed, this award. It would have been well-timed whenever I'd received it, but tomorrow night I do my 127th and final Any Questions, which will be a really bittersweet moment, because I'd hoped with Radio 4's willingness, I would carry on for as long as Jonathan Dimbleby, my predecessor, did, which was 32 years. I've managed 32 months, and we'll be calling it a day. Turns out being BBC political editor is quite a busy job. And combining it with schleps to the Shetland Islands, or Anglesey last week, Guernsey the week before that, the Isle of Wight the week before that, an Islands tour, it turns out to be a little nuts, to be honest. But it's been a fantastic 3 years at doing Any Questions on the best medium of all for me, radio, to do a programme that combines theatre and journalism on a Friday night in a different corner of the UK in front of a live audience is just a wonderful privilege. So thank you very much for this. Thank you for listening, and excuse me making a rather hasty dash for it in a few minutes before the end of the ceremony. Thank you very much.
Brings up an interesting question, actually. It really isn't a gong, is it? This is, in fact, the only award you can make a smoothie in. So, next category.
Okay, now we go to the Television Awards, and the first one is for the Best TV Drama Programme, and the nominations were Impeachment, BBC 2, It's a Sin, Channel 4, Ridley Road, BBC 1, Stephen, ITV, Time, BBC 1, and Vigil, BBC 1.
Well, that is a formidable list, but the award goes to a programme originally turned down by both BBC One and ITV because of its content, but subsequently praised as an incredible feat of small-screen magic, propelled by an exquisite cast, empathetic writing and a distinct visual style, and described by none less than Sir Elton John as a moving testament to a pivotal moment in LGBTQ history. It is, of course, It's a Sin. The creator and writer of the programme, Russell T. Davies, is unable to be with us, but has sent us this message.
Hello, I'm Russell T. Davies. I'm the writer of It's a Sin, and I'd like to say thank you to the Listener and Viewer Awards for awarding this to It's a Sin. We are delighted. I'm sorry not to be there. Strikes, heat waves, work, everything. Genuinely sorry not to be there. And thank you. I'm very much aware that I'm a spokesperson, not for just an enormous crew and a wonderful cast. You saw them, aren't they brilliant? But actually a whole wave, a whole generation of activists and campaigners and scientists and researchers and the charity workers, the friends and the families and the allies and the people with HIV and the people with AIDS themselves. I stand atop their shoulders just briefly while they do all the hard work and the pioneering work and the fighting and the fundraising, and I'm very much aware that they do the real work while I have a very nice time. So thank you, genuinely, on their behalf, thank you very much.
You're applauding a video, everyone. He can't hear you. It's a funny bit of awards ceremony etiquette, that, I think. So, Lewis, what is next?
Okay, next up is Best TV News and Factual Programme, and the nominations were Blair and Brown, The New Labour Revolution, BBC 2, Brotherhood, The Inner Life of Monks, BBC 4, 4 Hours at the Capitol, BBC 2, Inside Chernobyl with Ben Fogle, Channel 5, 9/11, Inside the President's War Room, BBC 1, Trump Takes on the World, BBC 2.
Yes, that's a tremendous list. I don't know if you saw Inside Chernobyl with Ben Fogle, but I have never seen a presenter regretting his choice of taking a job quite so obviously. But the winner is a series praised for its well-chosen archive material and securing the participation of all the backroom boys of its era. It traces the ruthless rise and subsequent achievements and failures of Number 10's Odd Couple, the Lennon and McCartney of British social democracy. It is Blair and Brown, The New Labour Revolution. And here to collect the award are development executives Will Emsworth and Polly Greetham.
Neither of us have planned this at all. Thank you very much is the main thing. Thank you to all the viewers and the listeners, and very gratifying to know that the filmmaking that matters to us also resonates with viewers. And so we'll look forward to doing more like this, and especially I think the current government will provide brilliant material in a few years' time, so watch this space. Thank you.
Yes, it doesn't matter if you haven't prepared anything. We're happy with improv. Lewis.
Okay, the next award is for Best TV Arts and Entertainment Programme, and the nominations were Great Paintings of the World with Andrew Marr, Channel 5, Handel's Messiah from English National Opera, BBC 2, Leonardo the Works, Sky Arts, Only Connect, BBC 2, Utopia, In Search of the Dream, BBC 4, and Right Around the World with Richard E. Grant, BBC 4.
And the presenter of the winning programme might have been thought to have been more at home in the previous winner, but he proclaims art, not politics, is the great passion of my life. The programme is Great Paintings of the World with Andrew Marr. And here to collect the prize are Emma Wakefield, Audrey English and series producer Rachel Ozers from Lambert Productions, Channel 5 Commissioner Guy Davis, and of course Andrew Marr himself.
Thank you very much for this award, much appreciated. It was a huge amount of fun doing it. We showed that you can do really good, high-end documentaries on almost no money at all. We went around the world, or bits of the world that we could afford to get to, and we had some fantastic paintings. It allowed me to spend an entire afternoon alone with the Mona Lisa, and most of the day alone with Rembrandt's The Night Watch. And those were lifetime experiences I will never forget. In the series, there are no miniatures, but as somebody from Channel 5 pointed out, no, that's the budget. At any rate, it was great fun. Rachel Ozers, who's here, was a superb producer and friend throughout it. And when her emails popped up on my inbox, I always knew I was going to have a lot of fun, and I did. So I'm really pleased. Like a previous winner, I'm going to have to scuttle off quite quickly because I have bits of a 6 o'clock LBC show lying on the floor, unassembled and uncompleted. But for the time being, thank you very much indeed.
Okay, the next award is for Best TV Individual Contributor, and the nominations were Fiona Bruce, Emily Maitlis, Clive Myrie, David Olusoga, Robert Peston, and Beth Rigby.
And the winner is a journalist and presenter who has reported for the BBC from Tokyo, Los Angeles, Paris and Brussels, was embedded with the Marines in Iraq and has been ubiquitous recently, contributing his equanimity and empathy from both the battlefront in Ukraine and the studios of Mastermind, while also fitting in forays to the new studio in London, Andrew Marr's old Sunday morning chair, and even Have I Got News for You. It is, of course, Clive Myrie.
This is wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for this. I should begin with an apology, I suppose, for a certain level of discombobulation over the last few months. For those viewers who have been getting in touch with me saying, what the hell is the presenter of Mastermind doing reporting from a war zone? Not realizing, of course, that I did have a life before Mastermind. This is brilliant. Thank you so much. And I would like to think as well that this is a tribute to the power and importance of, frankly, public service broadcasting. We saw just how important the BBC was in the role of so many people's lives during the pandemic, not only educating children stuck at home, bored, couldn't get to school, entertaining their parents in the evening, but also reporting, I hope dispelling some of the propaganda and myths that were out there about coronavirus with good quality news and current affairs. And I'd like to think that this is a reflection of that, but also our reporting from Ukraine as well. I am a tiny, tiny cog in a very, very big wheel of BBC coverage from Ukraine. I am now officially banned from Russia, and I blame that man over there. Yes, is it something to be proud of? Probably. Probably. But would I have liked to report the story from the other side? Absolutely. And the fact that I can't is testament to a society that doesn't particularly want to hear the truth. And we have to be on our guard in this country to prevent this society ever becoming afraid of the truth. Thank you.
So now we return to audio and the award for the best drama programme of the year. Final nominations were Blood, Sex and Money, Radio 4, City College, Radio 3, A Charles Paris Mystery, A Deadly Habit, Radio 4, The Christopher Boys Communion, Radio 4, G.F. Newman's The Corrupted, Radio 4, and The Tempest, Radio 3.
And the winner, based on the books by the prolific radio producer Simon Brett, features the unmistakable voice of Nighy as the perennially unemployed actor and amateur sleuth in A Charles Paris Mystery, A Deadly Habit. And here to receive the award are writer Jeremy Front and Bill Nighy himself.
We've got one each, but no. I'm very fortunate to be in Charles Paris. I've done it for many, many years. I keep expecting them to ask us to go home, but they never do. And they were looking years ago, they were looking for somebody to portray a man who drank too much, smoked too much, and lived in his ex-wife's spare room and was sexually incontinent. And they thought about me. And the beat goes on. And I'm very, very, very fortunate in the cast around me. Suzanne Burden, my radio wife, who is an assassin, and John Glover, who is similarly gifted. And I'm, more than anyone, I think I should thank Jeremy Front, who wrote them.
Mutual congratulations. Thanks to Bill for being in them and bringing that voice to the nation. Also, the rest of the cast, Suzanne, John, who are all the regulars. Have to thank Sally Avens, who cannot be here, but she produced it. She asked me to do it in the first place, pulled it all together, and Sally's made all of these series. There's a little core team, but Sally's right at the helm of the whole thing, isn't she? So, and of course, have to mention Simon Brett, who originated the books, and allows me to run 1,000 miles from them. But he's always incredibly gracious, so thanks to him as well.
The next audio award is for Best Comedy, and the nominations were Bunt Bed, Radio 4, Mark Steele's In Town, Radio 4, Meet David Sedaris, Radio 4, My Teenage Diary, Radio 4, Natalie Haynes Stands Up for the Classics, Radio 4, and Simon Evans Goes to Market, Radio 4.
I think we may have a diversity issue here. But the winner, in which the performer creates a fresh stand-up routine tailored to a different location in each show, was described by the Observer as a simple idea, kindly and wittily executed by an unfashionably humane Englishman. It is, of course, Mark Steele's In Town, and here to receive the award are the Creative Director, BBC Studios Audio, Richard Morris, Programme Coordinator, Beverly Tagg, Producer, Carl Cooper, and Mr. Mark Steele.
So much. I know people often sort of say about
not interested in that. Thank you very much. People often say about sort of a show, very false humility. Oh, it writes itself. But in a way, this thing does. I go to places, I just listen to the mad things people say. I was in Weston-super-Mare on New Year's Day, and it was pretty empty, and I went in a newsagent's, and there was a woman there who was 18, 19, talking to her mate, and I just caught her say at the end of a conversation, she just went, and then right on a stroke of midnight, as the fireworks went off, he proposed. I said, you've got to get divorced first, you fucking muppet. And that was... And you just go to a place and listen to people like that enough. I hope I'm not going to get into trouble. I was on when Chris was talking earlier about going to Shetland. So, when we did the show in Orkney, I was so impressed at the intense rivalry between Orkney and Shetland. Two sets of islands on which the population is about 7, and they're 100 miles apart, and they hate each other with a magnificent, with such magnificent relish. And I was on BBC Radio Orkney, and halfway through the interview, out of nowhere, the presenter, they've got this sort of strange Scottish Norwegian accent, and he said, "Mark, I've got a joke for you." And I said, "Oh yeah, okay." And he said, "How do you know that ET comes from Shetland?" I said, "I've no idea." He said, "He looks like he does." I don't know if maybe could try that on BBC Radio 1 one night, but it was just brilliant. And I must thank Carl, especially, my magnificent producer. We have such a laugh going round to these places. And observant people will have noticed all of those shows are from Radio 4, of course, because only the BBC can make these programmes. I could try and do it somewhere else, but I'd probably have to say, this week I'm in Whitehaven, home of British nuclear fuels that brings to you electricity that comes to you at a price that you can afford. Or I could do it on GB News and say, this week I'm in Hastings, if we're allowed to say Hastings these days. So thank you very, very much. And we're in the middle of another series now, and there's thousands of towns left. We're going to go on for years. Thank you.
So the next category is Best News and Factual Programme. Final nominations were Archive on 4, Jonathan Miller, Lost Memories, Radio 4, Britain's Fascist Threat, Radio 4, Farming Today, Radio 4, Last Word, Radio 4, The Briefing Room, Radio 4, and The Week in Westminster, Radio 4.
Well, I won't give away what network the winning show comes from, but the winner is a programme first broadcast more than 90 years ago, so in the inaugural decade of the BBC. It has undergone many changes over the years, not least because its subject matter, the proceedings of the Houses of Parliament, were not themselves permitted to be broadcast until the programme had been on air for nearly 50 years, which is quite some achievement. The presenters have fluctuated between MPs and journalists, and one of the latter was sacked in 1999, allegedly for sounding too plummy. His name, Boris Johnson, apparently. Although he denies it, I expect. And the programme is The Week in Westminster. And here to receive the award are Assistant Editor Libby Jukes, together with Senior News Editor John Neal.
Thank you very much, and it's such an honour to have this award. And as you said, Steve, the Week in Westminster has been going for more than 90 years. We believe it's the longest running radio programme in the world. Let me know if you've heard of one that's been going any longer. It's obviously at the very heart of the BBC's public service remit. It was originally conceived as a programme which would explain and analyse the goings-on at Westminster to the general audience. And in view of everything that's been happening over the last few years, it's probably more needed than ever. So we will carry on doing it week in, week out. And I must just thank our team of producers who take it in turns to look after the programme. I'm a comparatively new girl. I've only been in charge of it for just over a year. But we've got a wonderful team of producers and presenters, of course, very distinguished journalists like George Parker, Pippa Crerar, Isabel Hardman, Paul Waugh, who somehow fit it into their very, very busy lives, but they all regard it as an absolute privilege to present the programme. So on behalf of them, thank you very much indeed.
Now for the Best Music and Arts Programme. The final nominations were Breakfast Radio 3, In Tune Radio 3, Poetry Please Radio 4, Soul Music Radio 4, The Essay Radio 3, and Written in Scotland Radio 4.
And the winner, although slightly less venerable than the last one, which I think has to be the case, celebrates its 30th anniversary this year. It was created to meet the challenge presented by the creation in 1992 of Classic FM, specifically at the crucial drive time period. But its mix has always been both richer and willing to be more challenging, including live performances and interviews with composers and musicians. One journalist summed it up as, "This is what Radio 3 is all about." It is in tune. It has been presented for 25 of those 30 years by Sean Rafferty, and he is here to collect the award together with fellow presenter Katie Derham, lead producer Helen Garrison, and Radio 3 controller Alan Davey. There we are, everybody.
Gosh, I'm glad we've broken the Radio 4 deadlock, just for a moment. And actually, in our beautiful studio, we've been broadcasting for a long time, but actually it was the first place that music was ever heard from Broadcasting House 100 years ago. A small band, once a week, they had 3 minutes, and they were not allowed to overrun. Would that some other people followed that stricture. But anyway, we are very, very lucky because we have the most fantastic musicians coming in live every day. I don't think there's another classical radio program in the world that does what the BBC does. So we have the best talent. We have people performing live, giving of their all. And I know, particularly during, as I call the issue of the emergency, as they used to call the war in Ireland, it's brought huge comfort to everybody, and it is an enormous privilege to be there for both of us. Katie's getting the glass, by the way.
You'll have to buy me the flowers there to put in it, all right? That'll do. No, thank you very much. We appreciate it hugely. The team is fabulous. We never seem to struggle to fill the studio with, as Sean was saying, the most extraordinary talent, but it doesn't happen by magic. And Helen leads a team of extraordinary, passionate musicians. And this is what I love about Radio 3, is that we are all surrounded by people who just love what they do. And we feel very, very privileged and very lucky to be part of this radio station. And In Tune, I think, in particular, I mean, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, please, you know, my heroes come in every day. I get a little private recital. I mean, there's a few 100,000 people listening as well at home, but it feels like a private recital. And then I get to ask them impertinent questions. It's a treat, isn't it?
It's a treat. Well,
yeah.
It's all right. You're off today. I'm working. Actually, I'm going to have to go see. So if you'd all like to be there at 5 o'clock, I think the script, the words may be not quite joined up, but we'll try.
But thank you. Thank you all very much indeed.
We end with 3 awards selected by the VLV trustees. The first is the Naomi Sargent Award, which commemorates a distinguished broadcaster who was Channel 4's first Senior Commissioner of Education, where her brief included children's programmes, and she ensured that the channel included from the start such commissions as The Snowman. She would have approved of the decision of the DCMS to revive and diversify the public service broadcaster's provision of children's programmes by setting up the Young Audiences Content Fund. It's one thing to provide the finances for production, but what was also needed was an individual to take on the task of administering the fund and selecting suitable recipients. The VLV Award goes to the experienced BBC executive producer and commissioner who took on this task. The 55 programmes she's kick-started during her 3 years as head of the fund have ranged from Teen First Dates for E4 to Make Away Takeaway for CITV, as well as programmes in the Celtic languages for GG4, BBC Alba and S4C. She is Jackie Edwards, and here she is to receive the award.
just lovely. It doesn't seem quite right because we've just had the best fun over the last 3 years with this fund, and I accept this award on behalf of all of the Young Audiences Content Fund who've done such a brilliant job. It was a gift from government, one of their better ideas, I think. And over the last 3 years, it's actually, to update, we've made 65 awards to productions, brand new shows that wouldn't have happened without this funding, and over 160 development projects, over 10% of which have been commissioned already. It's been a relatively low-cost initiative, but it's got such high value out of it in terms of economic stimulation and societal and cultural value. Public service broadcast is important. It's our cultural glue, and no more so than for young audiences. So I'm delighted that we've been recognised for this. So thank you very much, everybody.
The second award selected by the VLV trustees is for Best TV Children's Programme. The programme they've selected combines live action, puppetry and animation in a subtle approach to information, in which children's questions are answered first with comic fantasy answers from an adult played by the endearing Don Warrington, followed by the correct information from his puppet sidekick. There's a joke about politics to be made there, which is just going to get in the way. Its production was made possible by funding from Jackie Edwards' Young Audiences Content Fund. It is The World According to Grandpa, and here to collect the award from Saffron Cherry Productions are MD and executive producer Caroline Roberts-Cherry, creator and writer Chris Heath, together with Commissioner Louise Bucknell from Channel 5. Who would like to? There we go.
You go first.
So it's really good following loads of presenters, isn't it?
Got a big finish, it's fine.
Just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you so much to Louise for commissioning our show, and to Jackie for all the funding and the support. And it was, for us, really special that we were able to get a programme out all about the relationship between a grandpa and his grandchildren at a time when grandkids couldn't see their grandparents. So thank you very much for this recognition, and yes.
And just an additional thanks to, well, first of all, Caroline for putting together a team of just amazing, lovely people who enjoyed each other, and a properly diverse team. And also to Louise, who gave us, which is quite a rarity, as I'm sure some of you will know, really good, creative, incisive notes on our first draft. So that was fantastic. So thank you to that. And also, if I may, just say a thank you to Arturo Garcia, my granddad from Puerto Rico, who the series is based on. So thank you very much indeed.
So we come to our final award, also selected by the trustees, and it is the award for innovation, which is sponsored by Arqiva. Paradoxically, in this context, VLV honours an organisation which was set up 65 years ago, but which now, as always, is at the forefront of its use of state-of-the-art technological development. We have already had a chance to experience some of its recent developments and achievements at the beginning of today's events, and to recognise how, in this era of climate change, its programmes have taken the lead in keeping the world informed. It is the BBC Natural History Unit. The award will be presented by Shuja Khan, CEO of Arqiva, and will be received by producer Paul Williams, together with the unit's head of innovation itself, Colin Jackson.
Very much indeed. I really appreciate the honour, and on behalf of the department, it's great to be noted for innovation, as you say, 65 years going young, shall we say, and still innovating right at the top of our field. I phenomenally am the head of innovation, which has W1A rings about it, I know, but and at one point I did have some role in responsibility sustainability as well, and I thought my life was turning into W1A. But we really appreciate this. It's what drives us forward, because we need to represent the
natural world. It's important that we do so, and we do so in the most innovative ways, because that's what drives us along every day, to try and capture the latest and greatest behaviours. And it's the biologists that challenge us to reveal new stories in the wildlife world that drives us along about what we do across a range of platforms and across a range of audiences, because the aim is to bring as big an audience as we can possibly get to share our love of the wildlife and the natural world within it. And Paul's just the latest strong in that, with Green Planet doing that tremendously well. Anything you'd like to say about Green Planet?
I just want to say Green Planet follows a great tradition of allowing people to enter the wonders of the natural world. And for us, every time we point a camera at part of the natural world, we are hoping to bring the audiences closer to it, because we deeply care about what happens to the natural world. The natural world is in great trouble. And our programmes and the people we work with, we want to make sure that we make a difference and that we leave a legacy for the future, because for us, it really matters.
The whole department will be very chuffed with this award. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, that is the final award, which means you have no longer any excuse not to go and face the rail strike. I have no idea how so many of you got here, but thank you very much for doing so, and good luck getting home. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Steve, for doing that so brilliantly. Thank you, Lewis, for all the work and help that you did. A few general thank yous to the VLV team. Kathy Birch, who's been very much an overall organising the logistics. Lucy Reagan, our admin in the office. Mary Dixon, who's worked with these awards now for a number of years. Diana Garrett, who's come in to help out as well. The whole VLV team. We're a small organisation. We're a charity. We get some funding from various institutions, but mostly it's from our members. So we're really grateful for all the help that we can get, grateful to our Kiva, and pleased to work with them. As I said earlier, we have some very similar messages to get over. Our next event will be is it up there? The Autumn Conference. Oh, good, because I couldn't remember the date, so I'm glad it's up there. The Autumn Conference, let us hope, it can be in person here at the Geological Society on Tuesday, the 22nd of November. Do please consider joining the VLV if you haven't already. It really matters, and I think the number of members we have is reflected into the amount of influence that we can bring to bear on decision making, which is what we really try to do in all of this. So thank you for your support. I should have said today's event has been recorded for live streaming, so it will be available on the VLV website. Thank you to all the award winners for coming along. Congratulations to them all. Thank you for the team, and safe home, everybody. Thanks so much indeed.